who are the three guitarists that have most influenced your playing style the most?
Oh yeah. Well, I want to say Slash.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Slash has this
Oh,
cool
he's
thing that like
amazing.
every note is like a big bucket of awesome dropping on the heads of everybody. So it's just cool, including me, right? So I I love Slash as a guitar player and as like a crazy maniac playing guitar. He's he's awesome,
Yeah.
and everything about the whole vibe of the Slash really, really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna throw a curveball on the second guy. I'm gonna say Chet Atkins
Oh,
really
yeah.
influenced me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got so much. You know, he was one of the best guitar players. He was a guitar player's guitar player.
Yeah.
Like any guitar player would just be completely transfixed with the way Chet played music.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
his songs were great, and his personality was there to match, and he was doing it at a critical time in terms of electric guitars. So
Yeah.
all throughout the 50s and 60s and 70s and the 80s and even the 90s, he was very relevant, very active,
Yeah.
and very good. And I love the way his right hand works. It was like he was playing bass and guitar. He was doing all these, you know, like he was just keeping the rhythm
Yeah. Yeah.
for himself. He didn't need company, you know. So he was
Yeah.
very independent. I like
Yeah.
that about him.
Fantastic.
And then, you know, I guess the third one who really influenced me the most, I mean, let's just go ahead and say Jimi Hendrix because
Yeah.
he's nobody who has come along since him has that same kind of vision of like these mystical things put to life. Like he's castles made of sand. Like if you look at the lyrics of that, you're like,
Yeah.
wow, not only does this guy play great guitar, like that's a really interesting song, and there's all these components to it. My favorite person to listen to, I think, on guitar is Jimi Hendrix because of his contribution. So great.
Yeah. I
So,
remember.
yeah, those three guys. If you put it together, if you put those three guys together and divide it by all the grains of the sand, you'd have.
I think the thing about like Jimi Hendrix was I remember Paul McCartney saying that Sergeant Pepper come out one day and then they went to this club where Jimi Hendrix was playing and he just done the whole of Sergeant Pepper. Sort of just overnight, he just learned to overnight. It's just incredible, you know, that someone could just learn,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, he's
Yeah,
just
good one.
amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that makes an example out of something too. Like if you're inspired by something, instead of having such an ego where you're like, you know, I know certain musicians like they're back and forth, like, you know, they'll only play their own music.
Yeah.
They won't cover anybody else's music. They won't. I mean, Jimi Hendrix was awesome. Like I remember one time he went on stage, and he started playing one of his songs. And he was like, forget this shit, and started playing a Beatles song. It was like he started playing Day Tripper, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? That's so cool. He was like, you know what? I got this song I'm supposed to be coding, but you know what? This other song, I'd rather be playing it. So I played the intro of his song, and he was like, fuck this, and he started playing the Beatles. It was cool.
Love it.
All right. This guy does whatever he wants. That's
Yeah,
what he does.
I really don't get, you know, some people who think that, you know, to be good you have to do your own songs all the time and sometimes, you know, just a cover, you can just make it so awesome, just, you know, changing it into your style, which is probably as impressive as writing your own song, you know, I mean, it's just, yeah,
I think people like familiarity sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a new artist and you're playing some music and you play a song, but you do it in the way that you envisioned it,
yeah,
and it's special. I think people rely.
yeah, totally.
Like if I went to see, I went to see this band Churches. They
Yeah.
spell with the V. If they had done a cover, that would have been like kind of a electronic kind of techno,
Yeah.
but also, you know, organic instrument vocal type thing of like, I don't know, let's say like a Kinks song. It
Yeah.
would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly.
But I went to see Lord the other day. She was great. I liked her.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord, yeah, she
Yeah.
sings
Yeah.
that song. I never seen a diamond in the flesh. My teeth on my, you know. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, next question is, how did you meet Drake and become his guitarist?
Oh, this is so funny. So I was at Steve's house, and I was working on Guitar TV. I got a Facebook message, actually, believe it or not. from Scott Simons.
I love
Yeah.
him. I adore him.
Yeah, you know Scott.
Yeah.
He was Drake's musical director, and through a mutual friend, he said something like, "Oh, yeah, so and so said that you were a great guitar player. You know, I'm touring with this guy, and he didn't say who.
Yeah.
And we've got basically a big world tour. We're looking for a guitar player ASAP. You think you can handle? I think it was like 27 songs or something like that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, no problem. What do you want me to do?"
No, sweet.
And so he was like, "Great, I'll tell the manager." So I was like, "Okay." So about an hour later, I got a call from Thomas.
Yeah.
Next minute.
Yay.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a guitar player, blah, blah, blah." And he told me all the details. He was like, "Well, first we need to see you, we need to see you play."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, well, there's some stuff up on YouTube." He was like, no, we need to see you play, like, and sing." And I was like, "Well, okay, what do you want me to do?" And he's like, "Why don't you just film a few minutes of yourself playing guitar and singing?" And I was like, "Okay." So I was at Steve Vai's house in the, doing something, and I was like, "Okay, I gotta get a guitar, but I don't want to borrow one of Steve's." Like, and I remember that Steve's neighbor, my friend Asa, actually had handmade a guitar, an acoustic, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, maybe I could borrow it for 5 minutes
Yeah.
and just do this." So I ran across the street and I was like, "Hey, Asa, can I borrow your guitar for a minute and just play it and film it for this audition thing?" He was like, "Yeah, no problem." So I played his guitar, and by the way, it played great. Whatever that kid did to make the guitar was the right stuff. He's a professional furniture maker now. He's in school
Wow.
for all these cool
Awesome.
woodworking projects. But anyway, yeah. So I played a Beatles song. What did I think I sang "Why Don't We Do It in the Road."
Oh, I love
And I was
that.
like playing and singing, and it was like really like introduce myself. It was like maybe a minute long video.
Yeah.
And I just sent it back over, and I was like, "Great, let me know what happens." And then he called back later on, and he's like, "We want you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we want you to be on the tour." I'm like, "Cool. What happens next?" He's like, "Okay, I'm going to send you all these tracks. You got to learn them." I think it was a Friday. So on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all I did was stay in and learn all of Drake's
Yeah.
songs that he had up to that time. And I was really surprised. They were really complex. There was like
Yeah.
7-part vocal harmonies. There were all kinds of arrangements, different time signatures, all kinds of different solos, patterns, like really deep stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot to learn," which is cool. And I did it. So we had our first rehearsal on Monday. So Monday and Tuesday went, and I don't think Drake came Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but he wasn't there the first day for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So by the second or third day, maybe he did come, and I met him for the first time, and we didn't really change much. Just kind of said, "Hey," you know. And the Orange County Register, which is the newspaper, I think, where he grew up in Orange County, so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
newspaper from his town was there, and the guy was just kind of making notes, and then he interviewed Drake afterward, and so I didn't know what Drake thought of me. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't
Yeah.
really understand at the time like what the vibe was, because we had barely exchanged a couple of words. So the next day, it went up on the website for the Orange County Register,
Yeah.
and I was like reading it, because I set up Google Alerts. I wanted to find out what was going on, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
World Tour, find out what's happening. And I get to the section where it's like, he's like, you know, the guy asked Drake, and Drake said something like, "Yeah, we have this new guitar player for the first time we're playing with him today, and you know what? He's really good. And his name is Andy, and blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh, I guess it worked."
Yeah, I remember that because
I
they took
vaguely
a
remember that as
yeah
well.
they took a photo shoot as well, didn't they, of Drake? I think.
Right. Yep.
And
Yep. So that's the first thing. And then like 2 days later, we got on a plane, flew to New York, played on the TV show, and then
Oh, yeah.
played the Gramercy Theater that night. And 2 nights later, we played at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And then a night or two after that, we went up to Montalvo and played a Smash Mouth
Yeah.
near San Francisco. And so like within a week, from start to finish, things were different. Like it
Yeah.
was like, just to let you know, it was like a very, very fast change. Now the other part of it too was me telling Steve and being like, "Okay, hey Steve, I know we just launched this company. I also want to let you know I got this opportunity to go on tour
Yeah.
as a guitar player, and what do you think?" And he said, "Well, do you think you're going to fall behind?" I said, "No, I don't think so, because you know me, I like doing the work and I'm really good at it." And
Yeah.
he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I think you should do it and try to film some fun stuff." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." You know, once you get the blessing from your favorite guitar player that you got to
Yeah,
go on tour,
yeah. exactly.
You just can't
I
just
think for me, I mean, I was a big, because of obviously him writing with him, Michael Corcoran. I think he was an amazing guitarist, and
He is.
he is, yeah. And obviously when he left the band, I thought, oh, no one can top Michael.
No, I thought that
And
as well.
and then the first time I was at the Gramercy and you done Big Shot, and someone filmed. No, it was Fallen for You, the solo in Fallen for You, and someone filmed it and put it on YouTube, and I was like, wow, and you had your like guitar over your head, over it, and I was
I
like,
remember that.
wow, and I just kept on playing it, and I was like, wow, I was wrong. I thought, and you just blew me away. That's when I sort of, Andy was like number
Yeah,
one.
Teresa, I actually remember you sending me that video.
Yeah, I was like,
You were
So-
very sweet.
thank you. I just talk the truth. So
It's really funny. I can tell you some like inside things about that show.
yeah,
Number one, I started off with the show with like a little bandana around my head.
yeah,
And as the show went on, the thing kept slipping down until finally it was like covering my eyes like a blindfold, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, because
God.
at the end of it, you had it round your neck, didn't you?
That's right. Do it at that point. It was like, all right, it's just gonna keep falling. Let's just put it down. So that was one funny thing. The other funny thing too was Drake and I always have these funny little guitar. I don't want to call them battles, but like they are. They're like little guitar like camaraderie
Yeah.
type things. Like where we use the guitar as swords.
yeah.
And you might have seen some about the videos. I remember one time when we were in Philadelphia, Drake picked up. He had like a big, heavy black Les Paul.
Yeah.
And I had this little tiny 1964 Gibson SG Junior.
Yeah.
And so, like right in the middle of the guitar solo, Drake turns into me and he like kind of kicks me, and I was like,
Oh,
was
I
laughing
remember
about
that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
it out. And then we started like fighting with the Mexamar guitars, and it was really. But like I thought, like that is a 20-pound guitar. Like it's like a 12-pound guitar. My guitar is 6 pounds. I'm like, I'm not gonna win this one. But anyway, during the Gramercy, we had these fun little guitar battles, and that was like the first time we did that. And the other kind of silly thing was, I accidentally stepped on the chord once during a guitar solo. Really annoying. But the good news was, I think I only missed like 5 notes. Like it was like 1 second, but like I was able to pick it up really quickly and put it back in and just keep playing the rest
Yeah.
of the guitar solo. So that's funny.
But-
That's funny. Yeah, I was gonna say something about Mike though.
Yeah.
It was really fun because Mike Corcoran and I, everybody knows him as Backhouse Mike.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got to play together just a couple weeks ago at the Brian Setzer
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
and we rehearsed together all week, and we had a blast. It was like really fun to play guitar with him.
Yeah.
Like we were like
He's
playing
amazing.
bluesy riffs. We were just like talking about music. It was really cool. And after the show was over, we hung out at his
Yeah.
house, and it was
He's
just
amazing.
so much fun.
I
Like,
mean,
the guy's a great guy. Great guitar player.
He
He's
is.
awesome. Yeah.
He is.
And well, the excitement's there. But like I remember the morning of some of the shows. It was like, this
Yeah.
is going to be a great show
Yeah.
tonight. I can't wait. Try to make it memorable, and then you go do it.
yeah. Honestly, I think if I was at that show, I wouldn't know where to put my eyes. I would have to like because of so much talent, and then Brian coming on afterwards, because
Yeah, well,
just, oh.
we all watched Brad
oh,
with like
I bet.
our jaw. That was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's just
incredible.
fantastic. I've been like a fan of his since La Bombe, and that's when I got into Stray Cats, and then
Oh, yeah.
then
So
obviously I got into Drake, and it was like, wow, he likes the Stray Cats too, and he's bringing out this album. It's going to be just incredible, for me, as So I'd probably best get back to the questions. Oh.